All right, now we're going to put the shifter shaft back in. Now the shifter shaft comes out and it falls apart into three pieces. So there's the one main piece, and then there's the detent, and there's the spring. So the spring goes in and it's going to rest against the crankcase, and the detent just goes on there, and we push this in. Need to kind of wiggle it to get the, these are the return springs. Now we pull this up, get the detent, and pull all this down. And the easiest thing is to take the shift drum. This is neutral on the shift drum, and put the shift drum in place. Okay, now that's going to hold all this stuff out of the way while we put the transmission back in. So the transmission, you need to pay careful attention to where the shims go. There's a small thrust washer that goes on the outside. There's a larger one that goes on the inside. This stuff just falls apart. So you want to put the bearing in the gear, and the gear has a larger relief on one side than the other. The side with the larger relief goes in. So this goes on, and that thrust washer goes on top of that. Now the input shaft has a gear that wants to fall off, but other than that everything stays together. So we mate the two shafts and drop them in the motor. Okay. Alright, now don't be surprised if they don't turn around, because it's in a couple of gears at the same time. So you can look and make sure that the gear on the bottom of the input shaft is contacting. Now it's a good idea to pull the shift drum out so you can feel that gear. Make sure that it's seated well. Okay. Alright. Now with the drum out, I'm going to put the shift forks back in. Put this shift fork back in, that's one of them, and then the other one, put the bottom one in first. Make sure that you get it in the groove on the gear that it operates, and then that other one. So with the shift forks in, we can rotate them out of the way, pull the pawl and the detent down, and put the shift drum back in. Okay. Then the shift forks run on these shafts that just drop in. Now we need to make sure that the shift forks are positioned properly in the drum before we try to fit the shaft in. Now it looks like the input shaft is not in far enough. Okay, now with both of those guys in, that shaft just drops right down in that hole. Alright, and the other shaft goes in. Put the heel of the shift fork in the middle groove on this side, and there we go, and then the shaft drops into the hole. Okay. Alright, now it should spin because it is in neutral. Okay, it might be a good time to work the transmission and see if it works properly. So, first thing we'll do is try first gear. Okay, that's first gear, and then there's neutral. You can feel the output shaft is not spinning. Okay, there's second gear. Third gear. Fourth gear. And fifth gear. And there are no more. Okay, so now we'll drop back down. There's second. And there's neutral. Okay, so we verified the operation of the transmission. And now it's time to put the other crankcase half on.